Swap jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city. This is Jam Hot. This is Jam Hot.
Welcome to Who's Hot with your host, Wil Chung.
Hello and thank you for downloading the latest UKOCR podcast. My name is Wil Chung and we are here to talk about Who's Hot and preview the Euro champs. As always, I'm with my two elite races. I've got Becky, Neal. Hey Becky, how are you doing?
Hello, good, thanks, Will. How are you?
Yes, very well. And Chris Shipley. Chris, welcome back. How are you doing?
You're right, Will. You're right, Becky. You're right.
Yeah, good, thank you. Chris, before we go on, let's talk about your new podcast. Let's give it a quick plug.
Yeah, I'll give it a quick, just a quick introduction. Won't keep it too long, but Accountability Corner. It's me, Darren Martin, Morgan Maxwell. We're just going to be fortnightly covering some basic topics of gossip and whatnot about OCR and try and build a bit of conversation in the sport. So you can check it out on Spotify and iTunes. Just go out and check it out, or the Accountability Corner Instagram, which is _Accountability Corner, I think. But we'll post a link to that, won't we, Will?
Hold on, I'm just trying to find it for you. Yeah, you're right. _Accountability Corner on Instagram.
Nice one. Yeah, should be good. Hopefully we get some good listeners.
It's good. I've heard the first episode. I heard the second one as a preview because I know you sent it to me. I think it's really good, and it's always great to have more people talk about obstacle racing in general. So yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thanks very much. Cool.
But anyway, we will move on. Let's talk about Euro. So weekend of 9th, 10th and 11th. The guys, Team UK, are heading off to Tartar, Hungary to take on the rest of the Europeans in the European Championship. Four races, 100 meters, 3K, 12K, and then the teams. We've also got the paras going out for the 3K and 12K, and also there are open waves for the 3K and 10K. Becky, where should we start? Should we start with 100 meters?
Sure. We've got a full-on squad going, complete with ninjas and obstacle course racers. So I'm pretty excited that, we're going to have some great representation across different age groups and genders and everything. And everybody has, earned their place for the 100 meters. They had to be selected by the National Federation for all the countries. I think maybe 12 people. You can see their profiles on the website. And it is following the standard 100-meter course, the one that you can set a world record on, which I don't know is like 30 seconds or something ridiculous. Set recently, yeah, over at the Southeast Asian Games.
People need to check that video out.
Yeah,
it is unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I can watch it and I can try and do those techniques, but I don't know if they're gonna happen in the real thing. So that's spread over a few days with some qualification rounds on the start of the event and then leading up to some finals on the final day on Sunday. But yeah, you can, in the rule book, it has the exact obstacles, including like the specification. And yeah, the idea is it's a fast, not super technical, but kind of flowy course. Just making sure I can find the details. But it starts with the classic ninja steps where you jump from side to side. I think there are 12 obstacles in total. So the steps, monkey bars, 1.5 meter wall, balance beam, 4-wheel rig, which they basically barely touch, 2 meter wall, island steps, rings, like really bent arms and that usually, low crawl, which is like a slide on your stomach, climbing holds, which again, it just leap to the second ones. It's like kind of like the skulls, like it's like a climbing hold, like a kind of like a crimp, but deeper, like a pocket. And then they just fly off that with barely touching it. Tarzan swing, like we had the other day at the PT barn, and the finish ramp. So pretty exciting. The buzz will be at the top and it'll be head-to-head runs to set a time to begin with. So that's going to be really exciting to watch.
Just remind me, that is standard, isn't it? So wherever you go for this particular 100 meters, it's always the same set of obstacles.
Yeah, this is the first time that's happened at the European Championships. Last year we had the event on and it was really exciting to watch, but it wasn't the exact specification. This is kind of as close as we can get to it, I think, for this European Championships. I know South Africa have got one built, and I think Denmark are working towards having one as well, and a couple of other countries, but there aren't many places where you can actually run the exact course. Of course, the Philippines have it pretty well set up, which is why they're so fast. So it'd be exciting to see how the Europeans get on with it and really compare the times, I guess, to the best in the world.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And we were talking about the weather, and I know we're very early out. We as time of recording, we've still got over a week to go. But 20, 25 or mid 20 degrees through the whole weekend, very small chance of rain. That makes for a very nice, fast flowing course. No chance of any slippages or anything. So
I don't know about that, Will. You gotta watch out for people and their sun cream. That's a dodgy thing that is. He gets all over them obstacles.
Yeah, that could make a difference.
All right, well, apart from the sunscreen, it should be a nice flowing course and just fast, and hopefully getting towards that 30 seconds, if not bypassing some of those Philippines, which fortunately they're not European, so that's someone less that we have to deal with.
I would like to point out, actually, on the rules for that section for our athletes going, there's at least I think 3 obstacles where it says you can't put your feet in your legs above your shoulder height. And we have seen people do that, like in the races at the weekend, climbing the wall and stuff. So just be aware that you don't do that. It's a safety rule, I guess.
Interesting. Shall we go on to 3K short course?
Yeah.
Chris, why don't you take us through this as what seems to be a new short course expert?
I'll just get it up. Where is it, Will? Hang on a second. 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
Some of the, I just mentioned some of the 100-meter athletes that we've got going for the UK. So when we've got Beth Lodge, Ninja Warrior champion, and not far behind her in the TV show last year was Imi Hales also going. We've got Tommy Matthews, who recently did really well in the World Cup in Poland, and Victor. And yeah, a few other younger athletes too.
And I'm assuming you're taking on 100 meters too?
I am, and so is Mila Stanzani.
Nice.
Yeah. I think Sam Clark as well, Samuel Clark.
That's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah,
I mean, the 100
really
meters is a great spectacle over the weekend, and it carries on all through the weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think Jack Carpenter as well. So people who qualified at a couple of the races, and Shelley Tompkins.
She's dynamite.
Amazing.
Yeah, and Alexander. There we go.
Nice. Well, can't wait to watch all them.
Yep. Oh, and Aaron.
Any more?
Maybe Zach. And
Zach Harper.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, he's got a little hand injury, so hopefully he's all right for that.
Okay. Well, good luck to the squad.
Yeah, can't wait to watch all that. That'd be great.
Chris, 3K short course.
3K. So we got 23 obstacles in the 3K course. It looks to be, according to the map, that you go out around the sports track. So you've definitely got 400 meters plus there into a lot of obstacles, and then just out on a little circuit, with the obstacles being over under hurdles, which I think they've showed on the thing as being the sort of ones you get in is it steeplechase?
They're called barriers. Yeah.
Barriers.
Well, there's a couple. If you look in the rule book, there's the over under ones, which are like a wooden beam, which could not be on the track, and then separate to that there's the hurdles, which are the barriers that you'd see in steeplechase, and the one pictured is the water jump one. But there's 4 other than the water jump in a steeplechase race. I used to race steeplechase, and so you're not really supposed to do the steeplechase without the water jump without their water being in it, so they'd have to fill up the water jump. So I'm not convinced they'll use the water jump one. It's also quite narrow, but yeah, they're all narrow. Remember, they're solid, they don't fall over like hurdles. They are solid, and they've got those big metal feet as well, so you don't want to trip over those on the way in either.
So one thing they don't have in the steeplechase, though, Becky, is a laser shooting.
Ooh,
so that's
here we go.
Obstacle 4.
Here we go. So we all saw this coming.
That's it. We all knew it was happening. When you get the big RoboCop gun, and you're going to come out there and you're going to try and shoot the thing. So that's obstacle 5. So quite early on, really. So
you've got to get the black circle from 5 meters, and you've got to hit the green light 5 times.
And there is a video on that online, isn't there?
It seems quite interesting there, Chris. So just to stop you, we've got number 3, which is the hurdles, and then what's that, about a 200-meter run to the laser pistols.
Yeah.
And you've got adrenaline running because it's very early on in the race. You're probably, as Becky just said, sprinting to that laser, to the laser target. So your heart is racing at that point. And I know the trick. I don't know the trick, but I know it's about getting your heart rate down as quickly as possible to help you relax, to help you to target better. So that's quite a tricky part to have it.
Yeah, because it is really early on. I mean, it's probably quite a good strategy point to take, because you're either going to come into it a bit chilled out from either coming in it not too hard, or you're going to come into it hard. And then after that laser pistol put in the sort of the go. But then after that, you've got a weighted carry. So it's a really difficult place to,
down.
Yeah, you're going to be really spiking. It's going to be an interesting 3K. You're going to be going guns blazing, but you're going to have all these like sort of breaks to get your breathing back under control. So it's going to be a difficult one. And I've never raced competitively on the 3K. This is going to be the first actual one doing it. So yeah,
it is fast. The start especially is fast.
Yeah.
And I think there are going to be waves. Okay, ideally we'd have a mass start with everybody, but it's just not possible with the size of the event. So I imagine the wave size will be slightly governed by these obstacles in particular. So I don't think we need to worry too much about that, but it will still be fast start, right?
Yeah, that's right. But if you look after obstacle 18, you've got a huge running section all the way down to 19, and that's going to be dynamite. That's going to be all flat along the river. Not the river; it's a lake, isn't it?
What shoes?
I did a little shoe test the other day, actually. So it was a quick shoe change of shoe choice.
Oh.
Hopefully they'll be all right. So it's going to be hard packed. What are you going to be wearing, Becky?
Well, you see.
Adidas.
Yeah, which Adidas is the question. I got some with 4mm lugs, but I got ones with less kind of padding and ones with more. But like the ones that with more feel like more like trainers, I feel less racy. But then the flatter ones have less, it's a bit worse when you're on harder ground.
That's it.
But it'd probably be okay for the 3K, but I might not wear them for the longer one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I like how they've put the course together. That it's a bunch of obstacles, bit of a run, bunch of obstacles, bit of a run. As you say, from 18, whatever caterpillars, and I know we've got videos and photos of all the obstacles, but then there's that really, as you say, that sprint across the lake or next to the lake, and then another bunch of obstacles as well. So I think just the layout, never mind what the obstacles are, the layout is really interesting and it really is destined for some proper racing, and I think that last little bit of gauntlet's going to be really fun to watch too.
Yeah, especially after people overcook themselves on that big straight. I'm so glad I did Rumble's time trial lately, because they got that 200 meters. No, it's 800 out and 800 back. I'm so glad I've done that.
And it should be like it's only 3K. You should be able to maybe manage to get that in at some point before the race if you want to like have a proper look at it and just understand how far it is between each one. You could even measure it yourself. Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of pre-rigging going on there.
We will have representation from the UK on the first wave of each age group as well. So that should hopefully put us in a good position.
How does that work, Becky?
Federations have nominated.
Okay.
Cool. What's next on the obstacles?
Oh, where were we?
I think you skipped along and forwards and backwards. So let's get back to, I think we talked about number 4, laser shooting, monkey bars, docker jump, 5 and 6 together, 7, 8, 9 together, balance, X mix. Do we know what that is? And then another weighted carry. Becky's just going back to the obstacle rulebook.
Yes, I've printed it off. I've highlighted it. I've counted things. I've drawn pictures of the attachments. But I don't feel like which one was it?
X mix. It just sounded like a really interesting name. That's all.
So the docker beam's the one where you have to jump your hands along the top of the beam. X mix is a mixture of grips, X, etc. Is all they've told us so far.
Okay. So
some of the other ones have the specifics, but not that one.
Then 10, 11, and 12. Liana, over, under, and Captain Hook.
Yeah, so ropes for the Liana one. We saw some horrible ropes last year at Euros, really thin, those blue ones, and then people started buying them. I don't imagine they'll be the same ropes, and you can put your legs on the ropes. That's allowed. So hopefully that's a bit more manageable than last year, because that did take a lot of bands.
A cargo.
Yep,
Just
big
a cargo
cargo net.
net.
Pretty simple.
Simple as cheese. Icarus.
Icarus looks really fun. So we've got rope, wheels, grip, and then hit the bell.
So it's a
So
high
there's
rig,
some
basically.
spinning ones. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
No legs allowed.
All hands, but being that high off the ground shouldn't really need to, and it's all big
Exactly.
attachments, so
Yeah.
should be a good one to flow through. Really
I
good.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, because
Remember,
you're
you've got
straight
to can't
into. Sorry,
Go on,
Becky,
Will,
you
'cause
go.
I've lost myself.
I was just going to mention because there was a similar one to that last year with the wheels, which was quite flowy. But you have to take off of the platform. You can't pass the platform, which could just be a mat on the ground. So make sure if you're flowing onto it nicely, that you also get the start takeoff right.
And it's good that it's flowy because it goes straight into 14 and 15. So 14 is DNA and 15 bag and cheese.
So
DNA.
DNA, that's basically the same one that they used to have at Nuclear, isn't it?
Helix.
Helix, that's right.
Helix.
But on this particular one, you can't use the side.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember always at Nuclear, you was able to use the side, the large poles, and then just sort of shimmy across it, making the attachment move on its own. But this,
Yeah.
you have to kind of monkey bar it. There has been a video online that we have seen, and it does not look easy.
No,
It
she was
looks a
staying quite
bit-
central, wasn't
Yeah. So I think body placement and body sort of balance, hanging on those hands and trying to control where you put your hands is going to be key. Definitely.
If you're sliding, like you've got your hand on the middle connecting bit that you're allowed to, and you kind of twist sideways and it slides down and your hand is then resting against the outside, you're not holding onto the outside, is that
That's what I was thinking. Try and sort of shimmy along that side so your hands aren't sliding. It keeps it in.
Yeah, but you're actively using the structure, I guess, which is what the rules say.
That's what I mean. It's a weird thing that they did with that obstacle, and have they used it before in other European obstacle races?
I haven't seen it much, no.
No. I mean, the only time we've seen it is at Nuclear, which they got rid of it a few years back. So
We'll find out.
maybe James has been selling stuff on eBay.
It is yellow.
It is yellow. He's making a couple of extra quid.
That goes into bag and cheese, number 15.
Oh yeah, done a bit of bag and cheese before, haven't we? Bag was in Euros a few years ago, and I've done the cheese in Hungary before. They're
So it's
totally fine.
Basically, cheese board, is it?
Yeah, you can touch along the top around the edges as well, and you can hold onto the chains on the bag only. That's the only exception for holding onto the chains out of the whole race. No other chains allowed.
Yeah, so at least you don't have to hug the boxing bag. Yeah. Like you do on the old school Ninja Warrior. The old Chinese, Japanese one.
Jump catch, yeah. But yeah, that's quite nice. And like I like to hang out with straight arms on the cheese, squat a bit on it, put your feet in, the board will move away from you, but it's quite simple.
Nice.
Which takes us into 16 and 17. So you got Horos, low rig, and the big wall.
So Toros were at the championships last year. This one looks like it's going to be an L, then a T, then a ring, then a disc. So those discs are really grippy, but a little wonky. You've got them at nuts as well, Chris, the little green ones.
Yeah, the UFOs.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you.
The rules surrounding the L and the open L grip are pretty strict. So you've got to be really careful where you're putting your hand, like near the top of the attachment. I think these ones could be very slippery, especially if it's sweaty or rainy or whatever. And I think you had experience with that on one of the L-shaped.
Yeah, that's right. So
make or break a race. Yeah.
Don't remind me about that.
I don't want to mention that, Becky.
I was trying to avoid it.
And we
was all thinking it.
Yeah.
Well, with the weather that's meant to be, we should be all right. But
yeah,
let's hope so. Yeah, be careful on them L shapes. I know from experience. Don't grab them when they're wet at an angle. Your hands will slide off them.
But they've also got those other L-shaped ones, which are more of the little pocket, which look a bit more grippy. And I don't know if they've got a name. So there might be one of the other L's, and it might be that one because I think that's a Taurus. I think that's a Taurus.
That one.
Yeah, I think it's more likely to be that one because that's the Taurus material.
Yeah, and that is like a climbing hold. So
yeah,
it's nicer. Yeah, like you say, it's like a little jug, isn't it? It's got
just don't snap your pulleys on your fingers. Okay,
that's it. You can grab that at the bottom two-handed.
A bit of a run, and then to Caterpillar, number 18.
We've only got a picture of this on the thing, and it's basically just a JCB.
It says pull the weight, so we're just going to pull a JCB. Yeah?
That's what I thought.
There and back.
So you reckon a bit like Herc hoist, but maybe that it's actually being held up, the weight is held up over a rope by the JCB, possibly something like that.
I was thinking that either that picture was because it was under construction or because you'd be dragging it along a track that was churned up by the.
Oh, I tell you, it might be. I think
Because you have to drag a weight.
Is it not that one with your hands that you twist?
That's later.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'll get that
But you definitely have to drag a weight along a marked route. That's the
Right.
description, and there's different weights for men and women.
And then
Maybe
as we mentioned,
sorry, Will, go on.
as I was going to say, as we then mentioned, we'll go straight over about probably just again estimating from this map, probably about 1K run, something like that, straight to 19 and 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, all within really short distance of each other. So your final gauntlet, triceps bar, Popeye, endless rope, monkey mix, and low Icarus.
So which one's low Icarus?
That'll be one with the spinning wheels again. Hang on, go the order again.
Triceps bar,
Popeye
number 19.
so you've got to put your hands on the red bits at either end on that one.
Popeye 20.
Popeye, I think, looks challenging. That's the one that you were talking about, where you have to roll up.
Yeah.
Forearm burner right at the end before quite a difficult rig, I think.
Although it is actually better than pulling something up because you have got a mechanical advantage using that twisting thing. So it's actually easier than doing something with your wrists because you're winding up. So you do have a mechanical advantage. Probably best to go backwards. Some people like forwards. I prefer backwards.
Okay. Would you switch your grip?
No.
Just on hands forwards.
I'll just do that.
Okay.
This is going to make a great video, guys. I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. Pulling it back like you're pulling the throttle on a motorbike. Boom.
That's a good description.
Boom, boom. Number 21, endless rope.
Oh, that could be long. I think that after the Popeye could be a forearm burner.
It is
Just got to
basically
use your legs.
It's a rope traverse, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they've had some really long rope traverses back in some old Euros. So they have been known to be very long. So if you can get on top of it, it might be a way to preserve a bit of arm strength as well. So, but
you can always switch from being on top to underneath.
And if it's a bit slack, sometimes it's better to go underneath than on top. So pre-rigging just to see what it's like. Give yourself a game plan.
Low Icarus looks hard in some ways. What have we got? Wheel into the Y, like an epsilon, a Y. That is what actually ruined the last Hungary race. It was because it was raining, but because it was at that sloped angle, like an upside down Y, those two bits that sloped out, everybody, except me, was sliding off of it. And they couldn't make the next attachment because by the time you were swung to it, you'd slid off. So if that one is slippy, just watch out. But you can hold the single point of the Y as well. To a T-bar, to a big hoop, which you can sit in, and then probably a long rope, which maybe you can get your feet on. Leg support is allowed. So it should be okay. Quite fun,
the picture doesn't look too bad. But then after that, straight after all that big run and towards the end of the course, it's going to be a real blowout. So
yeah.
So that's the obstacles. We've said it's going to be relatively flat, generally light terrain. What about the penalties of the 3K? Is this all kind of must complete, one go, that's it, or is there a penalty ban system in this one, Becky?
Yeah, so there is 3 band system being used, the Worlds and Euros system. So you start with 3 bands. You must get to the finish with either 3 bands or no bands. If you have no bands, you'll be marked as DNC. If you get to the finish or just before the finish and you have 1 band or 2 bands, you can earn back 1 or 2 bands to make sure you have 3 when you get to the finish by doing a penalty loop. We haven't got confirmation of exactly what that penalty loop looks like this year, but last year it was a short run carrying a really heavy chain that ruined all our vests. So you can do that at the end and it's doable and you're happy to get it done and finish with a band or 3 bands in the end. There are quite a few single attempt obstacles, but there's also a lot that aren't. So they're called either mandatory obstacles or time-based or skill-based. So the skill ones are mandatory as well. So things like balance or walls or carries you have to complete. If you don't complete them, then you're disqualified rather than losing a band and being on the did not complete list. So you have to complete them. They're mandatory, but they should be manageable unless, of course, you're injured or something. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's actually the same number of bands for 3K and 15K, which is interesting in my opinion, because obviously there's fewer obstacles in the 3K. So you almost have more lives relative to the number of obstacles, but of course it is difficult because they are close, well, at the same distance, but you might be doing it at a faster pace, closer together. They don't physically move the obstacles, so ultimately you do the 3K race within the 12K race as well, and you don't get any extra bands for that, so it's hard. But it's all right. You don't, it's not the total, it's not the defining moment of your obstacle course race at European Championships. I have never completed the 12K, and I'm still doing it. I'm still happy to take part. So it's fine if that happens. You can still feel proud of all the obstacles that you did overcome. Don't let it overshadow things.
That's right.
And in the case of para athletes, I'm just looking at the rule book here. Aggregate number of the starting obstacle, penalty wristbands, and the penalty silicon bands shall equal 5. So there's 2 extra bands for the para athletes. Anything else you want to talk about with the 3K before we move on to the standard 12K course? No. Okay, let's move on to the 12K. Chris, why don't you start? Let's talk about first how does it differ? Where's the extra distance come from compared to the 3K?
So it's basically a loop around the lake. So you do the first section, which is just the 3K to start with, which is all them obstacles that we've just discussed just now, and then you go out on a big loop around the lake of Tata, or Tata Lake, I don't know what it's called, and that's got how many obstacles after that, Becky? Because you got the numbers.
So there's 52 in total. Round the lake goes from 27 to 46. So after that would be 46 to 52.
So actually, that in that first 3K, there's a lot more obstacles. There's 25 obstacles, where I think you have 18 obstacles on the 3K. So they're packing a few more in as you're going around, and then you're off on that long sprint before you get to number 26.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
Yeah.
So then there'll be 6 close together at the end, back near that kind of field.
Yeah, and then we'll be thinking about because some of them are quite bunched up. There's sort of a kilometre or two before a whole gauntlet of obstacles into another sort of long run section into a couple of obstacles. So there's going to be some real good chances to really open up your stride if you're a fast runner. And then you've got to be just proficient at these obstacles and really strong in the arms, eh, Becky?
Yeah, shake them out, massage your forearms whilst you're running, whatever you can do.
I want to take my Theragun in my back pocket.
As long as your equipment is attached to you, you can carry what you want. Well,
So if quickly go through the first set, laser shooting is still there. Extra ones that I see: Captain Hook number 14, and then A Cargo number 15. So Captain Hook is new. Do you guys know anything about Captain Hook?
Yeah, we've done it at Euros and OCRWC before, where you hold on to the nunchucks with a hook on top. Quite often we've had to move the hooks past a sort of a vertical barrier that's along the pipe that you're kind of going along. There was a really long one at Euros in Poland.
Yeah,
that was good fun. It was, I think you had to go over 2 barriers essentially, and it was shorter at Worlds and also in Challenge Cup after Worlds at Nuclear. Single attempt is pretty vicious. We did do it last year. I definitely cut my finger, I think, at Euros last year doing that one.
Also known as skitch, isn't it?
Skitch, yeah.
Okay.
You must put your hooks back after you've used them. Otherwise you get disqualified.
Housekeeping, everybody. Housekeeping.
Yes. Listen to the rules.
And you don't hit a bell. Usually we've been used to hitting the bell. You finish with your feet beyond the rope. Not touching it, that does not count. Beyond,
I always
fall backwards.
I always dislike that because there's no real sign for the marshal to see that you've, apart from going over the line,
not looking with your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So just make sure you cross that line, and so there's no
sort of lean forwards.
Yeah,
because I've got to the end of that and been leaning and hitting it with my hand and not really actually traveling forwards. This might be more of you're holding on, you swing, you let go, and you release and get over the line. That might work.
Yeah.
Also might be slippy.
Yeah.
Do you go bent arms or straight arms on that?
I go bent.
Lock off. Lock off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just watch your fingers on the top of the nunchucks. There's some strict rules around that.
Yeah. Hopefully they're not too slippery. Some attachments can be, but we'll find out on the day. Like I said, a bit of pre-rigging on that one. We'll go around and have a look at that. Share loads of pictures and things. In various groups.
A
Where are we up to next?
set of extra obstacles, 21, 22, 23 to 24 altogether. So that's Twister, Wall, Sloth, and BALL.
Twister looks similar to Spartan, maybe a bit shorter if it looks like the actual picture of the one, but the pictures aren't necessarily completely accurate. If you can't get up, you can use the rope to get there, but as soon as your feet have come off the ground, you have to start your attempt. You can't return to the floor. Maybe the handles are a bit narrow. Not sure how they move. I'm guessing you can't use the like horizontal structure in the middle, which you can in Spartan. So don't get into the Spartan habit and touch that. You have to go from the twister bit to the next twister bit.
Oh, that's right. They had one of them. Sorry, I was just trying to find the obstacle, but it is basically Twister, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they had that at Poland, and it was a lot thinner to grab. So if it's the same obstacle, yeah, like Becky says, it will be a lot thinner. Not always the same, but the same.
Oh, Sloth, hey? Sloth looks fun.
Oh, I work with a few of them.
Yeah. Well, I've got sloth hands. Have you seen my sloth hands, everybody? I feel like this is my my secret weapon. My fingers don't actually go straight, so I'm permanently holding on to things. Look.
Really?
Yeah. I went to the doctors when I was little and they made me attach lollipop sticks to my fingers to try and straighten them.
Oh no.
Didn't work. So yeah, I would call it my sloth hands, and I think it's my advantage in some of these races.
That's
because I have so much tension. It's probably bad, the physios are going to tell me. Yeah, anyway, sloth. You can put your legs up. It's basically a low rig with bars, what we kind of used to in the UK. There's not many of those in here because it's not very common in the rest of Europe. But yeah, it's just a traverse bar, which looks like fun. The BALL one is the one that we were mentioning with the open L and the L. So it's ball, L, open L, i.e. like really slanted. Could be slippy.
Yeah, especially if we get any rain or any sun cream on any of them attachments.
Yeah.
Some of them nunchucks do have a ball on the bottom, so that will be handy. That's
the microphone and the drumstick ones, and they're on a different rig.
They look a little bit different to microphones. They look like other things, don't they?
Save that for your podcast.
Baseball bats. You lot have got a dirty mind.
So a bit of a short one to Caterpillar, which we've already talked about, which is some form of weighted pull. The long one to 26, which we're estimating about 1 kilometre. And then I can't quite see, but it's definitely another longish run to number 27, which is tunnel. I don't know whether there's any pictures of tunnel.
Yeah, you just run through a tunnel.
All right. Okay. And so actually between 26 and 28, you're probably looking at another couple of kilometers as a guess, before you get to 28, 29, 30 and 31 that all seem to come together.
This looks great.
Yeah, this looks like a really fun obstacle. Becky?
Board game, it's fun. I've been on some of these things before when I went to Hungary. So they've got a big board, which is like nearly the size of a person. It's got these little traverse holds on the side of it. You can touch the edges and you can touch the attachments. You just can't touch the chain. And then it goes onto a small board, so you won't be able to put your feet on that. So you have to hang on your fingertips and traverse across that sideways. Sometimes they do rock a little bit. Now, in some races, people have actually put their hands on both sides of the thing, but that was then banned in another race. So there's no specification on the rules currently, but I imagine you wouldn't be able to change lanes because that's essentially using 2 lanes. So you're going to be traversing sideways. So think about which hand you want to lead with. Maybe you've got to make space for your second hand. And then it goes into like a traverse bar. You're allowed to put your legs on the big board, but you're not allowed to put your legs up on the bar. Okay, so it's essentially a high rig. So they don't want you to fall off and land on your head. And then that goes into a ring and finishes with a T. So that could be nice. I don't think it's too difficult. It's quite long. Probably just the transition from the hands-only board to the other bits is probably the trickiest part.
Becky, the things that you hold on to on the boards, are they just like blocks of wood, or do they have a little groove behind the top of them?
Yeah, you can get your fingers down behind the back a little bit. Cool. Yeah, so it's not just flat.
Cool.
I think maybe not on the big board. I can't remember.
I've been trying to zoom in on them videos.
Yeah, I'll see if I got another video. I don't remember it being totally difficult when I did it, so it probably had some purchase.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be much mud. I have seen on a few of them videos that it's been used and they've been caked in mud and they look horrible. So
yeah, doable though.
Yeah.
Ooh, here we go.
29.
Torres high rig.
Yes. So hopefully again we've got those Toros attachments which are quite grippy. But yes, nunchuck, ring, rope. Not sure how long the rope is. Probably a long one. Tone, L, and then a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just hands only on that one. It's a proper high rig. Bit of
Apart
switching
from-
between things.
Apart from the rope, you can use your foot on the rope.
Oh.
Is that right? Can you?
The picture says hands only.
Interesting.
It might be a short rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to keep an eye on that because obviously, if you have got the long rope, you'll be able to, if you can foot lock it, gives you a little bit of a chance to spread your body across the obstacle and get through it. But we should.
Otherwise, it's more locking off. Or
I guess just to confirm that as well, each obstacle should have a sign where it tells you whether it's hands only, legs only, or hands and legs. So there should be that sign there.
and whether it's single attempt or infinite attempts. It's got the infinity sign if you can have multiple attempts.
Cool. On to 30. Are we on to? I Can Fly and 31 Valkyrie.
Ooh. Yes. So we're not sure how this one's going to move, but essentially you've got a strap, a green strap specifically, which you have to go and collect. So you pull the green strap along a scaffold pole, and then you just jump, slide, swing your body, fly through the obstacle to get beyond the rope on the other side. I've seen a video of it sliding along, but I just don't know how that's going to work. I feel like as soon as I put my body weight on, it will stop.
I can imagine you have to like, you might have to throw the rope up a bit and like sort of lachey it forward, or possibly, I don't know, like you say, it's
done that at
really...
Field Fit with a rope on top of the scaffold pole and had to jump it forwards. And of course, you'll be able to swing as well. And if it's a strap like that, you can put your hands through like you do on the nuclear zip line and hold it more securely, as long as when you let go, you let your hands out. Like in the picture on the thing. That could be quite fun.
Yeah, and again, there's no bell on that one. It looks like you have to jump over.
Yeah, but you've got to get it right first time. Single attempt, so don't underestimate it.
Yeah, be a bit cautious, I think, with these single attempts. You can't underestimate that. You want to get it that first time. You don't want to be doing. Well, you don't have the option to do it second time. So.
No. And that one, because that's not on the 3K either. So that means you can't even practice it in the other race. And we did a similar one to that. The new one at Toughest, where you jump and catch the rope and slide. That was a bit more mechanical. But we already had to commit to that. Like I had to full on throw myself as hard as I could at it. So you've got to be cautious, but also totally commit.
It was quite funny, Becky, because watching you try the first few times, you've got no body weight compared to the rest of us, so we were doing it quite easy. But you're right, you just had to commit and just hopefully have enough weight and momentum to follow through. And 31 Valkyrie.
We all know Valkyrie.
We've seen Valkyrie. Well, I'm more interested in the Hun one later on. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Bit of a run, then on to 32, 33, 34. So balance, wall, balance. I think that's probably self-explanatory. Then it seems to be quite a nice trail run around, a quarter of the bigger lake to 35 and 36. Looks like it's quite small here. Molnier and Torres mix.
I was wondering if he's going to be able to say it properly.
I've probably still butchered it anyway, to be fair.
It's Thor's hammer, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes these take a long time. We've done this in a few races.
I've done it at OCR series, and I've knocked it off the thing.
Oh, I bet you've got the really good technique from work.
I quite like hammering stuff.
Yeah. Whereas I have no idea what to do with my body. Like, do I want to hold it? Do I start with one hand down the end and then I lift it up and I slide my hand down so I've got both hands at the top and then
that's perfect.
Use levers? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm using my biomechanics brain.
Yeah. It's all mechanics.
Okay.
Good one, I think, like that.
Yeah.
You're good at jiu-jitsu and stuff. I like it.
Oh.
It's all mechanics.
Enough sports. So yeah, we do put some welly into that one and then breathe and do a technical rig. We don't know what it's made of, but it's hopefully got those nice attachments, probably some nunchucks, some cones, some balls, and some little UFO things. Probably no legs.
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's going to be a real wrist burner. Burner. You've
got to grit your teeth and get through.
Yeah. Because once that's done out, you've got another little run out again into some quite easy obstacles.
I was going to say,
we're going to be experts at walls.
quite interesting how you guys were saying those two are kind of all about upper body and arms, but the bits in between of both sides, that's a lot of running, isn't it? And again, I'm assuming you're just going full pelt. If this is, you know, fast, light terrain, it's pretty pretty flat, you're just going for it, aren't you? So probably another kilometer or so to 37, 38, 39 together, wall under wall. Another one, water. That's a great name for an obstacle. Do you reckon that's just a bit of a dunk and then go on again?
Yeah, it says no swimming. So,
yeah. And they put a poll on their Instagram about, do you think we should have a swim in it or just water, like a couple of months ago, and the results from that went against swimming, and they seem to have taken that on board. So no swimming.
okay.
If you're hot, then you can still dunk yourself in. Just don't swim.
So hopefully at least quite a long wade where, you know, if it's deep enough, it's going to slow you down that little bit. And maybe if you've got a bit more power, you can go a little bit quicker.
It's tired on your legs as well.
Yeah, running through water is an actual genuine technique to it. And it is a really good thing to have in an obstacle race.
Are you going to share that technique with your...
I like to kind of like skip. So lifting your legs high and skipping through.
I've done
it seems to, because you kind of use the momentum of your legs and your body to drag your feet through the water and up high. So I quite like that. It doesn't use too much energy.
Yeah. Then on to 41. So actually between 34 and 41, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 obstacles, but a hell of a lot of running. You're probably looking what, 6k just as a guess, a bit between those two, something like that. So 41, 42, 43, 44, 45 kind of come in quick succession. Dice, musician, low docker beam, meet the predator, and letters.
Okay, so it's getting technical again.
Yeah, and you've done these ones, Becky.
Yeah, I've been on the dice, and they are massive. Like, it's easy to put your hands in them, but like the height difference or some of the holds, and they are slightly different on each side. So use your eyes and maybe pre-rig and see which side you want to go, because like some of them have 3, some of them have 4 holes. I would stay high, because in the previous race I did, you're allowed to kick the bell. You're not allowed to kick the bell here. So if you're holding on to the lower ones, you're probably going to be really far away from the bell, like really low down, and you might be at risk of touching your feet on the floor as well. So I would stay high on that one. You can get around the corners. You just got to try and like use your eyes as well. But it is awkward. And that going from the dice into the beam of bank, which is like a big long one, but with a little edge to put your fingers on. That's quite a lot on your fingers, really. Like, you've got to get your fingers in the hole, then fingers along the edge of this beam and shuffle your way along. So I think that might be a little bit sore.
Are you allowed to use your feet on that?
No, it's hands only.
Hands only.
So it's not the big beam where you do it like a low rig. It's the higher one where you just have your fingers on the little edge grip. Yeah. So you can't even put your hands on top, I don't think. Look up. They've got specific rules for the beam of bank.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Yeah.
Bank is where I did the race before. Yeah, and then the musician one. So with the microphones and things.
The microphones.
So it goes drumstick to microphone to cheese. Now, I think the drumstick is the longer version of the microphone. Drumstick is a long nunchuck with a ball on the end. They look pretty shiny though. Then microphone's a shorter one. And then cheese. You can put your feet on the cheese and use your hands on the top of the cheese as well. So the cheese will be all right. I would just try and get your feet on the cheese as soon as you can, really.
And then we're into 43, low docker beam. That's the one you were on about earlier.
Yeah. So that one you can put your legs up. So you kind of shimmy along it. I've done that one before. It's got sharp edges. It's probably going to have some mud on it potentially. And then it goes into the Y, the upside down Y, into a T-bar, and then like a traverse bar. I think you can put your legs up on those.
Yeah, so you should be able to get your body.
It's a low rig.
Yeah, basically a low rig. Keep your feet up on that wooden thing.
Yeah.
Get your body long on the outside and then touch. Is that a bell? Yeah.
Ring the bell at the end from the platform.
So get your body as far out as you can and then just whack that bell.
With your feet on the platform at the start, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seem to remember overtaking Dassos on that obstacle last time.
Oh. I'm sure you never remind him about that.
Never.
Quality.
Okay, moving on. Meet the predator and letters. 44 and 45.
This is going to be hard. Meet the predator. So it goes ring, predator, teeth. The ring's fine, the predator's fine. You basically just put your hands in the slots. You can
Just the
also put your
teeth.
hands around the side, but that transition from the predator to the teeth, I think, is going to be tricky. I don't know whether we want a bit of movement in there or not, because with the teeth, you basically want to be wide. We had a similar one last year, but it was pipes, and the best way to do that was to have your hands on the outside and be wide, rather than trying to sort of treat it like a nunchuck. So you want to get your first hand really far down the teeth so that you can get your back arm on and not have it too close.
Yeah, you kind of want to pinch them teeth together, don't you?
Yeah, but wide.
So,
Yeah, using your pecs. And then you got to get in that rhythm of shifting one backhand, forward hand, back, until they hit the bell, which is also really quite hard.
Yeah, you're going to be locked on. You're going to be wanting to stay onto those teeth and then somehow get to the bell.
Maybe
So
you put both hands on the last teeth and then quickly hit it.
hopefully they've got a bit of grip to them or something. Because if they're a bit shiny, there could be a lot of slippages on that. And
Yeah, I imagine they're wooden.
so it's going to be an interesting one, especially
Tired as well by then.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, 44.
Well, I
Into
remember-
45. Oh, go on, Becky.
I remember looking through the rule book last year and thinking, this is mad. This is so hard. And then during the race, you just tick them off. Some of them off, some you don't. And you're actually like, oh, I didn't think I'd be able to do that. So let's not assume that we can't do it. Carry on.
Failure not an option.
Yeah. Not with how cocky I'm being, right? Okay.
45 letters.
We've had this one before, other European Championships and other races. It's basically just rings, but they're the shapes of letters. So it should be really cool. Hopefully,
I saw somebody ask on Facebook whether the letters would be the same, and it's different letters as you progress, but every lane is the same, just to make sure.
I wonder if they spell something.
Must do. Warrior.
Hungary.
What letters?
We just haven't decided which words to spell. Tata. Just T and A all the whole way.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
A short run and then up to Hun Pyramid.
Hun Pyramid, what a name. Hun Pyramid.
Yeah. Double Valkyrie with rings.
Oh, you're okay, Hun.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be okay on after this. So is that just basically
I think
up,
it's just
down,
double
up,
Valkyrie,
down, like a double stairway to heaven, but on rings, which is arguably harder.
I mean, could you possibly skip a few rings at the top and go through it? We have to, because it hasn't got a picture on the thing, so we don't really know the sort of height it's going to be and the width apart. They do a little tip. They do use layer scaffolding, so all the attachments that they hang the rings off are a certain distance apart, and I will tell you what they are.
This is why we have them on the show.
Yeah.
That's not because I can't remember.
Come on, your moment.
I think it's.
Do you want to go outside and measure something?
No, it's got to be 0.75
meters. Yes.
Yeah.
75 centimeters. Okay.
I think.
Oh my God.
That much.
All right.
I will.
That sounds sensible.
Yeah,
Sensible.
I'm pretty sure it's 0.75, and so that will be the distance apart.
Okay.
For them.
I'm more interested in how close to the ground it goes.
Yeah, because that's going to determine how you swing for it.
It's kind of like Canyon at OCRWC last year.
It might go up high like Valkyrie and then into a low version. That'd be quite cool.
Well, how exciting, Huns.
Hun Pyramid.
Then a little bit of a run. I guess I'm guessing about a kilometre, something there or thereabouts. And then you're into the gauntlet, 47 to 52. Let's have a quick look. Triceps bar, we've already talked about. Up with an exclamation mark. Popeye, endless rope, monkey, mix, low Icarus. So yeah.
So if your arms are still alive, you've got to get them going for the triceps bar. I hope it's not too wide. Sometimes the steep bits up and down can be tricky, especially if they're slippy. So you've got to be careful there. Make sure you finish in the red zone. Don't just try and swing your feet off. That up one, I think you're going to have to run at it quite hard. Sometimes that can be slippy. Yeah. Hopefully they will put a rope or support net over, which is what they say in the rules.
But it is infinite attempts on that, so it could just it could just be a miss it a few times, but eventually try and get up it. But it's
then why won't you get up the first time?
Because you'll be tired, Becky.
Okay, that's what you say.
You keep telling yourself, Becky, you keep telling yourself, I can do it.
I'm just
first time.
manifesting.
Let's go. Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
Think
Let's
positive.
go.
There is no wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Popeye.
Bye-bye.
Arm burner. Endless road. Arm burner. Monkey mix is going to be monkey bars, grips, and ninja jump. I've got a load of question marks on my piece of paper here. What is a ninja jump when you can't use your feet? Or is that one just not quite right on the rule book?
Is that what it says?
It says monkey mix, monkey bar, grips, ninja jump. One attempt, platform to bell, and hands only. It's a suspended obstacle, but what is ninja jump? Is it a salmon ladder?
I would imagine it's like a flying jump with your hands.
Oh, it could be a flying monkey.
Yeah, flying monkey.
I was thinking maybe salmon ladder, but I thought that would have been a bit much to have just one of those in, because we have seen salmon ladders before in Europe.
Yeah, they have changed it. Yeah, they all broke though.
Yeah, and hit a million people on the head.
Yeah,
I spent about half an hour there.
but they have used flying monkey multiple times.
Yeah.
Especially last year, they used it on that one that didn't it. You have to put it down and it moved, and you have to jump across to that one. So that didn't explain anything. Sorry about that.
Oh, the one with the wheel
know
at the
what I mean?
end.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's good.
don't use your feet, but you might have to fly, which I like. If anyone wants to come chat about it because they're worried about it, I'm happy to talk. Low Icarus, we talked already. That's one with the wheels.
That's it.
Yeah.
All
Ooh.
the obstacles. 52 obstacles of joy.
Probably less than 100 meters of incline. Hopefully some good weather, but could be pretty hot. Make sure you bring enough to drink. Sometimes people don't think about with a 12K. They haven't mentioned anything about water stations yet, but it should be manageable. Like, I'd imagine they would be able to put some out there because it seems pretty well set up there.
Yeah, and if not, there looks like there's plenty of shops around the lake, so you just pop into your local shop, grab a bottle of juice, and come out again.
Very convenient.
Open wave like I would be, then I'd pop in to go get an ice cream. But
Nice.
The last race I did in Hungary, there was nothing in the town. Like, there's nowhere to get food, no restaurant, no shop, nothing. There was a tiny little corner shop, and I was like, fantastic, I can get some food. There was a vegan, we couldn't find any food. There was just drinks, but we did find a vegan Magnum. So we couldn't get any lunch, but we had 2 vegan Magnums, and you got a free cornetto with them. So I had 2 cornettos.
Brilliant.
oh my god,
So it's not always convenient in Hungary. Budapest is different. Tartar looks pretty well set up because it's got the Olympic training centres. So should be good. Pop into the shop if you want. But last week, when you're talking about not wanting to spend any time running back and up and down to stay warm.
Yeah, I don't think we will be doing it. But it will be hot, and if you can always take some water on board with you, if you're really that worried.
Last year, I froze my water bottle, put it in my back pocket, so it was cooling me down with the ice, and I was drinking the ice on the way up the hill.
Yeah.
What time does the wave start on Saturday?
Can't remember.
I'm just looking at the weather again. I know we're long term out, but even at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's 18 degrees. 11 o'clock in the morning is 23 degrees. It looks like there's hardly any wind, no rain, and very little cloud cover. So Friday is even worse or better, whichever way you're looking at it. Saturday is just hot, and Sunday a little bit of cloud and possibly a little bit of rain, but you're still looking at up to 25 degrees by 1 o'clock.
Yeah, the duration of the race is also long enough, and you've been working hard to generate a lot of heat, so heat is definitely a factor here.
Yeah, especially with being how flat it is.
Fast,
don't underestimate how fast you're going to be putting down.
Yeah. We mentioned, Becky, that there's 3 penalties for the 12K, but we're talking about the ratio between penalty missed completes and kind of infinite attempts.
Yeah, so it's almost 50-50 split. About 53% of the obstacles on the 12K are single attempt only. So again, don't let the bands get in your head. Half of them are not applicable. You can have another go. But yeah, there's still about 29 obstacles which you have only 2 lives to lose. So you can only take 2 mistakes out of 29. And then on the other one, it's 2 mistakes out of, I'm not sure how many. But there's 23 obstacles and not all of them are single attempts. So yeah.
What's interesting to me, Becky, is we did this show last year, and I think with the support of British Obstacle Sports, with the races that have been put on over the past year, it does seem to me that Team UK are probably, are in a much better position this year than there were last year. You know, I think also going out to, I know people have gone out to European races as well, but I think we as local UK racers have definitely taken on board some of those more difficult and challenging rigs and bringing them here to the UK to make Team UK that much better prepared.
Oh, definitely. And that's, you know, kudos to everybody for working hard, and the training centres for helping and develop people, and the coaches, and even the technical officials. Everybody's contributed to that. So I'm pretty excited for us to have sort of representation across all of the genders and age groups and categories. So, I mean, I think we're going to step it up a little bit from last year. Okay, so at the European Championships last year, I've got some of the completion rates for the 3K. Out of all of the females, there was only 37% completion, so keeping all three bands. In the males 3K, from everybody, it was 70%. So quite a big difference there. So still looking for more completion across the board. In the 15K, it was 25% completion. So that's actually lower than the 3K in the previous Euros. It might have been higher in the 3K, but that was before the three-band system came in. And in the males in the 15K, it was only 47%. So this is a notoriously difficult championship. In 2018, before the three-band system, it was only 3% completion for the women in the 3K in the elites, and 0.1, that was one person completed the 3K. The elite men was 14% completion on the 3K, and age group men was 8% completion. So we can see that the three-band system has helped completion rates, but it still is a bit unequal between the genders there, and probably also for the age groups. So yeah, everyone just do your best.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It's just get through it. We've all been training really, really hard. We know what to expect now. Like Becky said, everyone's been putting in the effort down at training centres. Everyone's really worked hard. So I think we'll do better than some of them statistics have said.
Yeah,
definitely.
Definitely.
So with the standard 12K course, we've mentioned there's the Paras will be doing the 3K course and the 12K course, and there is also open waves for 3K and 12K courses. Of course, we've got the competitive teams that will be running that, as well as the national teams. But let's talk about Team UK. Who's going? Who do we think may do well in terms of that air quotes well? Let's talk about national teams as well. But let's go back. Let's talk about 3K, 12K competitive. Let's talk about open and para after that.
So I reckon the full squad, we might have nearly 50 people from the UK going, which is incredible. We're not always the biggest nation there. I think Italy.
But we're the loudest.
and we're going to have representation across the board, so I'm really excited about that. Let's see, we've got Morgan Maxwell competing, John Gregg, Federica Dassos, Karen McCrory, Samuel Clark is competing for the UK for the first time, having lived in Spain previously. We've got Jack Carpenter, Laura MacArthur, Amelia Solomon, Libby Joyce, Amy Hales in the 100 meters and 3K, Pip Rainbow, Shelley Tompkins, Emma Kirkwood, Shai Dehaney, Claire Bancroft, Orsola, Laura Hayward, Oliver Addy, loads of people. Tommy Matthews, Dan Titcombe, hopefully his outfit's all better now. Jim Bourne, Darren Martin, and we can talk about a few of these people in a minute. Zach Harper, Jake Childs, you, Chris, Alex Young, Ian Solomon, Rob Border, Captain Dean Johnson, Jason Wright, his fierce competitor, Mark Cahill, Tony Leary, who was our captain last year, Dave Burton, Steve Biglands, Andy Durrance, Amelia Solomon, I think I've already mentioned, maybe Wendy Orchard, Emma Hammer, Louise Ferryman, Tamar Barkley, Jason Marlum, James Burton, of course, Eddie Lambert. I think that's most people. Steve Biglands. We've got a few more people in the juniors, or a few extra ninjas. Aaron Pullen, Alex Arndt, Jamie Gain, of course, representing us in the para category. Claire Rosser, Beth Lodge, Corbin Mackin. I think he's not so injured now. Not sure everyone's got all their travel completed, but most of those people have completed their registration and everything. So a list of some really great names there. We've also got Finley Greenleaf, Jake Jollies, maybe Josh Lads, Laura MacArthur, and I've mentioned Amelia and Libby and Oliver already in the juniors.
Nice. That's really good. Really good to see some of these people coming through.
What a list.
So who's gonna do well? What do you reckon? Everybody.
Yeah,
Megan
everybody's
Trent,
going to do
I
well. Yeah.
don't know if I mentioned Megan and Mila, Megan Trent and Mila Stanzani. Yeah, very exciting.
Because I obviously, as I always do now, or try and remember to do, put a post out in the membership group of Bush Obstacle Sports, and I asked who's going, what are they hoping to do, so let's go. Darren Martin, co-host of Accountability Corner. I'm heading out to compete in the 30-34 category for 3K and 5K. Best thing to do now is to rest, recover, and take it easy. Wise words. All the work is done, and now is the time to not do anything silly. Ships, I think that's pointed to you. Focus on rehab, diet, and recovery, making sure the best version of you turns up to the start line. Absolutely fantastic, wise words. Emma Kirkwood, to do the best I can, believe in myself more and push my limits. Run with people I'd never believe I'd have the opportunity to run with. Laura Hayward, going yet again, but I'm carrying injuries. Sadly, I've been unable to train. I've only run 3 times since before Easter. My elbow surgery has made it worse rather than better. But it's great that you're going out, Laura, and supporting the rest of the team. Jamie Gain, para athlete, also did well in Spartan Zandvoort, didn't he? Was he first in Spartan in the para? Heading out for the first adaptive Euro Champs wave, 3K and 12K race, smiley face. Dean Johnson, I'll come back to him later as well with some words, but he says, I've done 3 European Championships and medaled at all 3. I've 4 years out of 4 surgeries. I'm racing the 50 to 54 category in the 3K and 15K. Like many of us, I've had to keep my training steady and not overtrain like I've done before. Finally making the start line already feels like a win to me. When we all hit the start line and representing our country, I know we will all do our best to go Team UK. And I think that's really important, that it's not about possibly where you place in Europe. It's about where you feel that you're best to place, in your own goals, your own target, and whether that's kind of mid-pack, front of the pack, or like me towards the back of the pack. It's actually about your own goals and knowing that actually going out representing the country is a win all of its own.
Yeah, wise words there, Will.
I try. But anyway, Chris, how do you think you're going to do? And why you're doing short as well? Because like this is a whole transition from you going long to kind of doing well in short course.
So the short course, I'm gonna just give that a test run because, like I said before, I haven't actually ran a 3K competitive short course race before. So I'll do that more of a test to see what it's like, and then possibly use that to build on for Worlds later on in the year. The 15K, I think I've bulletproofed my grip strength. Everyone who's been training with me, I think, can say that as well. The running on the flat, that's going to be interesting, but if people blow out on it, then hopefully I've got the strength in the arms to keep going. So I'm confident enough. I think that's good enough. But yeah, I'm really looking forward. I love Euros. This is the 3rd time I've done Euros now. So I love Euros. I love the challenge of it. It's the most technical race you can do in obstacle racing, and it's the one where you're going to really see where your strengths are on the obstacles. So yeah.
Becky, how about you? Taking on 3 races, possibly 4 races. How's how are you kind of measuring all of that work?
Yeah, I started this year thinking I'm really going to focus. I'm going to choose a distance and I'm going to race it. And I've ended up entering all 4 events. 4. So I probably won't get very far in the 100 meters, but it's really kind of cool to take part in that. And actually, I've really enjoyed it recently. I've won 200 meter races now, so maybe I'm good at that because it's all about being smooth. And but definitely my weakness there is like the power and the parkouriness. I'm not very agile on my feet. So I was kind of hoping to focus on the 3K, but I've enjoyed the longer races too, and I've ended up running longer distances this year than ever before. So I'm going to try my hardest on all of them. The 3K is usually useful to help you have some reference of what the obstacles are going to be like for the longer race, even though you definitely feel sore for that one. And then, to do the team relay at the end, you just you just find the extra bit when you're racing with the teammates and for your country. So I guess that's how I'll manage it. I'll do a bit of effort as much as I can for the 100 meters, but that's not the focus. I'll go all out for 3K and then use that and try as hard as I can at 15K. And then I'll find that extra bit thanks to my teammates, hopefully, in the relay. But yeah, I've definitely noticed progress over like 4 years of doing Euros.
Cool, and best of luck to you. We haven't really talked about the teams, the competitive teams and the national team. So do you want to go and talk about that?
Yeah, cool. So there are 2 different kind of types of relay. So there's an event for the national teams. So each country is allowed to select. So people can't just enter it. The countries have to select a national team for the men's, the women's, and a mixed team. Then there's also competitive relays that anybody can enter in mixed men's and women's. It's still a competitive race. So in the UK, we've created a national squad for the relay. So that the people who have been selected for that is Alex Arndt, Chris Shipley, Dan Titcombe, Darren Martin, Dassel Scanella, Dean Johnson as the captain, Federica Di Correa, Jack Carpenter, Karen McQuarrie, Libby Joyce, Louise Ferryman, Morgan Maxwell, Rob Border, Samuel Clark, and Tamar Barkley. So the people in the national team for those 3 things will be made from that list of people, depending on how things go in the 3K and 15K, whether there's any injuries, whether people are worn out or hands ripped, or there's particular obstacles that are on an aspect of the course that they just can't do that they've discovered in the past couple of days. So me as vice captain and Dean as captain will kind of get the feedback from the athletes there and sort of finalize those squads for the Sunday. And then there'll be sort of the national teams in the competitive race as well.
Nice. Chris, would you like to take part in the team relay? Put your hat in the ring.
Well, he's in the mix.
I'm in the mix. Yeah,
He's in the mix.
I'm in there somehow. No, yeah, I really enjoy the team race. The race, it is a highlight of the weekend. Really, you are because you're in the team. It like you say, it gives you that extra boost. I've done it a few times with really great athletes. Me, Mark Dixon, and Jason Wright did it one year. Hopefully this year we're not going to be as hungover, but it really does spur you on. It's a great race. It is a great race.
And it's actually different. I mean, last year was different. I guess this is maybe more what people are used to. So it's a relay this year. Last year it wasn't a relay. You ran together, which is really interesting, especially in the mixed race, because Dan Titcombe and Dassos had to run at my speed. They were physically pushing me up the hill so I could run faster. It was magical. I wish I could have that in every race. But it was hard work. Oh my God, trying to keep up with them. So at least in the relay, you can run at your own pace. But then it becomes this tactical decision about who you're going to put on, because there is then speed, strength, technical, and then team, as we've seen in OCRWC. So it becomes a bit tactical, especially in the mixed race where you decide where are you going to put your woman, because traditionally, probably weakest at all of those things compared to the best obstacle racing men in the world. So it's interesting how people make those decisions. And we'll definitely all work together as a team on those things. And the squad has been selected with that in mind already. So there's a good balance of people in there.
Yeah. You guys have been to the Euros before, and I know you've been to Worlds too. Tell me a little bit about the atmosphere and what possibly some of these new people that haven't been to Euros, what to expect in terms of atmosphere.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the podium is really cool because it's like proper ceremony. Last year they had really good coverage. The YouTube videos you can go back and watch, and they're really exciting. And they had like all that playing in the background with the pyrotechnics and things. And we had like some ceremonies at the end, and there was like a pasta party as well, which has been going back a few years. So it's a really good way to mix with people from different countries. And like it suddenly becomes all the people that you've been watching on probably Instagram you're seeing in real life, and it's quite cool.
Yeah, we had a bit of a party in Poland. I remember that one. Well, actually, no, I don't remember it. I've tried to block that out from my memory, but no, it's always a great atmosphere. Yeah, Denmark party.
Denmark party was fun. Yeah,
but it was nowhere near the party that we had in Poland. Was he there, Becky?
Yes, yeah, I was.
I swear they drugged us all. Anyway, we won't go into that. But yeah, the atmosphere with everyone is out of this world. That's what all about going to these European Championships and World Championships is all about. It's just being a part of something.
I think that really did help us progress as well as athletes and as a nation of athletes. Like we came back from that, everyone knew each other across different teams. You know, you guys at Nuts and Rumble and Phoenix and OPP and all the different teams mixing together and like sharing tips and training together and going to visit each other at training and just chatting more has just helped everybody come on so much more. So I'm excited for that, how that carries forwards to Worlds this year as well.
Yeah, there's so many different teams, but we're all really one great big team all together.
We wear our colours of pride.
What colour are we now? Blue.
I've got an old one on.
Hey.
Yeah. I've grown a bit.
Guys, before we finish, any last words of encouragement, last words of advice, anything you might say? Hey, for me, I think looking at the weather, don't forget your sun cream. But any last words of advice before guys going off in the next few days? Actually,
well, team captain Dean Johnson has passed on a message. He says, well done to everyone who has qualified for these championships. Everyone has prepared the best we can. We've all had work, relationship and other event commitments, and some have been coming back from injury. All of us have done what we can to make the start line in the best shape and represent our country. We can do nothing once we are on the start line other than enjoy the event and have the best race we can. Good luck to you all.
Perfect words there. Yeah, perfect words.
Brilliant, guys. Well, thank you very much for your time. I know we've gone on a little bit long this time, but I think it's been a brilliant preview of the Euro Champs, and going through obstacle, I think will definitely help the rest of Team UK. You can follow Becky Neal on Instagram. Her Instagram is the Runner Bean UK. You can follow Chris Shipley at Obstacle Race Dude. Also, don't forget to follow his new podcast is _Accountability Corner. You can follow along the weekend with at UKOCR, at British Obstacle Sports, and at OCR Euro Champs. So that's it from the rest of us. This has been the Euro Championships, and from Becky, myself, the rest of the team, to Team UK, best of luck. Go smash it, guys.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, Alan here at UKOCR. I just want to jump on and reiterate what the guys and girls have said out there. Go out to Euros, really enjoy it, give it your best shot. Hope you have some fun, and I hope we bring some medals back. But if we don't, you've done us proud. You take care, we'll speak soon. Love you all. Bye.
Tell me all about it,
right.
and give yourself a quick
Plug.
yes. At British Obstacle Sports and at OCR Euro Champions. Yes.
It's not really the focus of this. Oh, hang on, I've just lost it.
So we'll cut this bit out, Becky. Don't worry about it.
Melody